Welcome back to Factorio Masterclass. My name is Nilaus and we are going today to do some PROMETHIUM science. What we did last time was build an initial ship that could go out and catch some PROMETHIUM chunks for us. But what we're going to do today is refine the ship so that it will work continuously. We're going to be setting up so that we can get the quantum processors from Aquillo, and more importantly, we are also going to set up the BITER farms on Nilaus so that they can handle this and other things that we need BITERs for. And also make sure that we have fully automated and also safety mechanisms involved for our spaceship. So there will be some changes to the spaceship. You are looking at it right here, but we'll come back to that because the first things I want to do the Aquillo first because it's simple. Then we're going to go to Nilaus because it's the most interesting, I think. And then we're going to go to the spaceship and go through the changes that are there, which also includes a really cool self-changing mechanism so that it knows if it has low ammo and goes on an ammo run before it goes out. Of course, we're also going to look at what it would do if we upgraded to rare components as well. So lots of things here, so let's dive in. Of course, as usual, the blueprints are available to patron supporters, but we're also going to be putting an effort in here to design things on camera. So what we're going to do on Aquillo is pretty simple. We had this built over here, and previously it was just half productivity modules and half efficiency modules, and also these were the combined efficiency and efficiency and speed modules. But as we have now the good power plant, we don't need to save power at all, so we can go all in. And by just adding this one, we actually get quite a decent amount. We get 4.4 quantum processors per second, which is more than enough for what we need. So we'll just keep this one. The only thing that's important is keep a good stockpile, because then when the ship comes in, it will need some PROMETHIUM. If we go to our small PROMETHIUM ship, and maybe you didn't remember it from last time, maybe you didn't watch it, so if you want to know how to build this PROMETHIUM ship, that's in the previous episode of the masterclass. We're going to still do some refinement to it, but the way it works is here. We have this PROMETHIUM. We're going to go out and come back with 40,000 asteroid chunks. So if you look at 40,000 asteroid chunks, that's 40,000, and then we divide it by 10, because every craft needs 10. There we go. That means I need for this one, I needed to divide it by 25. 25. That's 1600. So I'm going to need for consuming 40,000 asteroid chunks, I need 1600 quantum processors. That's why we're setting this one up to request 2000 quantum processors. And if we look at Aquillo, then this here stacks in a rocket capacity to 200. That means we're going to have to launch 10 rockets. So what I've done is I've actually not scaled up this part, but I've actually scaled up the rocket launching capacity with this very simple blueprint here. It's room for 16 of these in a design here. What I'm also doing is I am not adding any speed modules because this doesn't need to launch fast. So I don't care that it takes forever to get the next rocket ready, but it will be able to launch in quick succession 32 rockets plus the 2 we already have. So that's going to be 36 rockets we can launch without hesitation, and we're going to need to only launch 10 for this, so there's no problem at all keeping up with this. So basically there's nothing more we need to do on Aquillo. Adding some more rockets, that's basically it. It doesn't actually have to be here because now it actually blocks the progression of the pipes, but it could be below or around or wherever. I just put it next to it because, well, that's nice. So that was easy. So let's go to Nilaus and look at something that's less easy. Here we're going to be doing the design from the ground up because it's a little bit more complicated. So here we have to dive into some mechanics of how this works. So if I do this one, and we're going to look at a BITER farm, this one. So this one is making BITERs, and here's the production. It is making BITER eggs. So it needs BITER eggs to craft BITER eggs. Interesting. And we do need a finite amount of these, so I'm not actually setting up a dedicated construction location for this because you just need, well, some, but not too many. And we're of course going to design it on the city block. Let's click on this one. This makes a BITER egg, and it makes on a 10-second craft time, it creates 5, so every 2 seconds it creates 1, and the stacking is 500. So the issue is that if we have, let's actually build one of these, there, and we're also going to get some bioflux there. Good. So what we see here is that if this is important to understand because that's kind of the foundation of everything that is, and I'm going to get a chest as well. There we go. Good. So what we see here is now this is crafted. And as it is put in here, we can see that it starts degrading. Remaining time. But what if we do this? Now this was, of course, keep degrading. But the interesting thing is this does not degrade. So BITER eggs inside a BITER nest are fresh, which we're going to use for our advantage. When this one continues all the way up, it stacks up to... There we go. Let's speed it up. It stacks up all the way to 100. And that means we can keep 100 BITER eggs in one nest completely fresh all the time. It'll continue to produce. It'll continue to create bioflux or use bioflux, but it will not degrade this, which is super important. So you can see here, now we're in a position where it just has 100 BITER eggs that are completely fresh. If I take this one out, and if I put this out here, you can see that they come out completely fresh, and then they start degrading slowly. So we're going to use that to our advantage. And that means what we're going to do is, first of all, it's really annoying to work with these because I can't pick them up. So if I want to move things around, then I actually have to blow them up with artillery, which is annoying. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to use foundries because they have the same size. And that will just make it a little bit easier for us to do design work and just shuffle things around. There we go. Problem solved. But that's a little bit of a hassle for us. So what we want to do is we want to come up with some kind of design that takes here, and then we have some kind of design which will then be able to have 5 of these. One there. And I'm also going to take that on below. Here. So. And then we have to imagine, for the time being, that this is actually a BITER nest. So now we have 5 of these. What we can then do is, these 5, we can set them up so that they don't actually throw things in there. So we're going to be taking some of this. Yes, they're a little bit too close, but that's kind of unfortunately how it has to be. Otherwise it doesn't work, because it can't reach all the way over even if we wanted to. And we're going to get that one back. Here, and should also have here. Right, so what we can do is we can take the output and we're going to put it into a filter here. Let's just get it over here. There, so we can actually now hook this up and we can read orbital requests. So we can basically say, if there's an orbital request that says, do you want BITER eggs? Yes. If you want BITER eggs, come in space. Then send a signal. I don't know. We might as well use a beautiful little star symbol. So that means that, yes, there is a spaceship in orbit that is waiting for BITERs. That means take them out of the cold storage where they don't degrade and put them in here and launch the rocket. That's pretty simple. So from this one, we can just get it over to all the different locations. Let's see where I want this. I think I want it somewhere. But it's more important that it goes up here and into these. There, on the red wire. Perfect. So that's pretty simple. Then we just have to make sure that these are only enabled when the star is actually true. So that's here. And that goes into all. So that's done. Now what? Now we need to make sure that they get some. Remember, these are not. This is not what you're looking for. This is something else. So we're gonna get up here, and we have to get like that. Need biofuel in here. So this is exactly the range that they can go. So I'm gonna have to go like this. And then jump into the next. There. And down here, we're going to be jumping like this and up. And then here, we're also going to get basically the same. And why like this? Because I need somewhere that actually puts in the bioflux. Good. And that will be looking at the entire belt. And just basically only going when the bioflux is less than 50. And this one has to have the trash unrequested, otherwise it's gonna go bad. Right, so now I'm already sort of designing some of this here, but we do also have the issue that it can... There's some other things. Something doesn't feel right here. I think we're too far out. I think this has to... Yeah. This has to move a little bit in. Like this. Here. And that one, and this one up here as well. And that one goes here. Good. There we go. And then we can get the inbounds. That will be inbound, 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 inbound. All that is good. But hold on. It has to be more than this. Because that just takes care of it. But what these can also have spoilage. So I also need to be able to get spoilage out. Which means that I have to do this. Which means I need to get spoilage out in this belt. It's... Things spoil, you know. That's just how it is. That goes here. These ones down here, they also have to be the same thing. So that one and flip like this. Good. This is of course incorrect. There. All right. And then this one is a little bit different because it so here's another thing. When we are in orbit and we have our spaceship has enough BITER eggs, it leaves. That's how it is. It just leaves. But then I'm probably gonna have this one partially full of rocket or of BITER eggs. So I need to be able to also eject BITER eggs out here if I don't want them anymore. And that we put into a steel box like this. But what should be the condition for ejecting? Well, that should be the condition is that I no longer need anything in... Oh, why is that here? No longer need anything in orbit. So that one will just be the opposite condition. So it's when there is a request, when there's a spaceship in orbit that requests BITER eggs, these 5 will put them in here and it'll launch. The first one will be almost instant because they're fresh, and the next one will just be in the speed that it's producing. When the spaceship is done, it's leaving, doesn't require anymore, then anything that's in here, I don't want it spawning BITER eggs. I'm going to put it into this box, and then I'm going to put it into an incinerator. They really should have called these incinerators instead of whatever else they're called. Because there. And that now also explains, we can take that in here. So that will give us exactly what we need. There we go. And then I am going to... What are we missing? I can also do this one, get you here, because that means any spoilage that runs around will also be put on this belt. Fine. Okay, I think we're kind of done with this design here. This should work, but there's a little bit still missing. We are also missing an input here for all the rocket parts, so that should also be easy. That's going to be this one, and this one, and this one. And they're not launching very fast, so let me just put 20 of each. Just that should be fine. Good. So this is going to be our bottle, our design, and then let's try and move it somewhere that's meaningful. 1, 2, 3. Let's try this, and then I'm also going to be putting it in. This one, unfortunately, has to go up here for now, like that. And then I'm going to get the next one. I think we can actually just squeeze it in like this. See? Things are pretty much working. And the only thing that's missing is that this could also then be a... There. Alright, so that's working. I don't really need this. No, this is needed since I have this one as well. But it's working. You go out because I don't need you. And then I'm going to take the last one, which will be also like that. And this just takes out as well. And we can then make some adjustments over here. All of this doesn't make sense anymore, but it now can go past it. And is that correct? Yes, it goes around, goes around. Why is it stuck? Yeah, okay, so it's not stuck. There we go, it's working. And this one should still be monitoring the entire belt, but it's not. There, we are monitoring and it's working. So this is basically one design. And what we then want to do is oh, it's not quite done because we also need, it actually needs to only monitor one of those locations. So the rest of them, they don't need to have all of these connections. Or the connection from this one is the only one that monitors, and I think we should also just have a little light up here just to indicate that it is happy. And that goes on the red wire there, because we only need one place to monitor. And this one should be a green signal, and it should be enabled when the star is, oh, the star is here, greater than 0. Good. So when there's something in space, that means this is active and everyone's happy. So what are we going to do now? We're going to simply take this one and I'm going to flip it vertically like this, and then it should be able to fit here. It doesn't. So this was put a little bit too far there. And then try again. That one. Flip it like so. Great. And now we can put in the important condition here. We are going to get some. These are really, really good, and so we'll use those towers if we can, and then we'll put in a smattering of other turrets here and there. They're not super important. Well, they are super important to have, but you don't need as many. But hey, we have the space in our build, so why not just go on in for this? There we go. So this should basically be the design, and everything should be working, except that I don't want 2 of these conditions. I want the condition to be only at the top, and therefore I connect the top rows and the bottom rows. There we go. The only thing we're missing is now replacing this with actual rocket launchers. The thing is, if we look at... Oh no, this sucks. This one should have been over here. Well, I can fix it. I can fix it. The issue is that if I look at it with normal power poles, then this actually is fine, but you can see up here, then it doesn't reach up there. So that's why I am deciding that I'm just gonna bite the bullet and use the better power poles. You could also use uncommons, but hey, I don't like using uncommons for pretty much anything. A few things, yes, but not for power poles. There we go. So that's also giving us a pretty nice grid. If we just bother to clean it up a little bit, then we can also get a nice grid over here. Here's some bad connections. And I'm going to connect it like this. And also the last connection up here also needs to be done. And then we're basically ready to test it with real BITER nests. Okay, so this is now ready. We've replaced it with real spawners. There's a little bit of a caveat here that I forgot to put a place where this one could be put in. But now what I can do is I have created one that's called test BITER request. So what we're going to do here is we are simply going to say, hey, you are actually going to request not just 3,000, because that's actually how much we can do. We have 6 launchers and they each can launch 500, so it's 3,000. But I'm actually going to say like 5,000 and just see how that works. Just so that we get a sense of it. Should we do 7,000 just to be sure? So this one says, no, it doesn't have anything. And then it builds up. And it should be building up here. Yes, there we go. 3,000 gets launched up here. And then what happens on back here is that they will still... This one is still green, so they are still going to be put in here. And then they'll start filling up the next rocket. And of course, if we choose to just speed up the time a little bit, there we go. Then we can see that this fills up. If we go to our spaceship, this has now received some of it, and this is, you can see, available in rocket silos. Will just slowly build up, well, in this case fast, because we're running at 8x speed. When this hits 3,000, it'll launch. And then what I've also... Okay, that's actually a problem with how much space we have here. Let me just get some additional space. That one. There. So now we have enough space. So what happens now is that it will grow up here. And then what we'll see is there. It launches 1,000, and the rest, where did that go? Where did all the rest go? Well, all the rest was ejected from here, went into this location where it now gets burned pretty quickly. And that is the essence of it. So it's self-correcting that when the rocket, when this one has enough, it will then, in this case, leave. And it will, anything that was in rocket silos back on Navis will then be deleted by putting it out here to the heating towers, which will then incinerate them. You should still call it an incinerator. So that takes care of the quantum chips on Aquillo and the BITER's farms on Navis. I actually want to have 2 of these so that I can launch 6,000 at once. It's just nicer. But the beautiful thing is, this is a city block, so just copy paste it. It'll also work for when you need BITERs for a gleba for the overgrowth soil. So that's it's going to be doing exactly the same thing. It is time to take a look at our spaceship, because the spaceship has also evolved since the previous episode. So a few things have changed. I've done this for a number of reasons. First, to make it sustainable so it can run automatically all the way out, and I'm actually going to speed this up so we can get more traction on what happens. So the first and biggest change is actually here, that we now have a run that is set up with 2 different runs. It's either an ammo run, which will trigger when it has a home base now on Gleba, and then on Gleba it will say if it is not having a green signal, the green signal means enough ammo. If it doesn't have enough green signal, then go to the other planets, on the inner planets, just to farm some more asteroids. But if it sends on Gleba and it is having enough ammo, then go out to Aquillo, pick up the quantum processors, solar systems edge, shadow planet until we have 20,000, and then go back and sit a Navis until we have empty PROMETHIUM chunks. So that means this is now in the progress of actually going out. What I've also done in terms of changes is that I noticed that, oh, it's very noisy, the line here with the railgun ammo, when the inserter picks up, it actually only picks up, it doesn't pick up a full stack, it can pick up just 1, which means that over time all of the belt here was full of not fully stacked with 4 stacks, but it was many of them were to 1 stack, 2 stack, 3 stacks, and that was just really annoying because I mean the belt storage was way less than it should be. So what that now is set here, that it has it's only picking up when it can pick up 4, and it's using a stack inserter instead. So that means that now it will always take a full stack out, and since it's inserted with a full stack, then it always maintains full stack. That means it removes a stack or puts in a stack. It'll never have partial stacks moving around here. Very important and small minor thing, but it makes a difference. Then I've set all of these front ones up to shoot at both big and small asteroids, or both the huge asteroids and the normal asteroids. We're now out into the PROMETHIUM fields. The storage is the same as last time. We're just kind of slowly filling up here. I made a change here. I was previously using setting this one up with a speed modules, but actually since we have the room, it's much better to set it up like this. Other changes, moving the beacons over so that they affect here, and you can see that now the explosives can actually keep up, which it couldn't do that before. So that's all good. And of course another big thing is actually the ejecting BITERs. We have now set up here a little less storage, but more BITER ejection space. And the way it works is that it says if there is no PROMETHIUM or there is no quantum processors, then you send the skull signal, and the skull signal is triggered to eject all BITER eggs. The reason why I'm setting both of it is because the 2 things that can cause it to fail is that if it normally if I don't do anything, then it goes to Navis, picks up a lot of BITER eggs, consumes all the PROMETHIUM asteroids, and then starts heading out. And then the BITER eggs are expiring on the way out, or maybe doing ammo runs, and then they hatch, and it's bad. So basically the first thing I was saying, like, okay, when you're not having any PROMETHIUM chunks, you eject. But there's also the chance that I do have PROMETHIUM chunks, but for some reason I did not get all the quantum processors. It's an error case that shouldn't happen, but you know about that's kind of how we do error handling. That shouldn't happen, but they do tend to happen anyway. So if I get into a situation where I don't have enough quantum processors to actually construct the PROMETHIUM sites, then it doesn't matter that I have enough PROMETHIUM chunks, because it's going to stall out and the BITER eggs will hatch. So this is the 2 conditions, that if I'm running out of either of these, then you just eject. And that's what we'll see when it comes back. We're now 168,000 kilometers out. It's flying at 130 kilometers per second outbound, and we are sort of filling up to 20,000, and then we're going to be turning around. You can see this is the consumption rate, and we're out at 3.5. When this is running, it's going to be dangerously close to the edge, but it's going to be fine. because it will go really far down. We can see that now it has changed. It's now heading back, and we're approaching we're at 3.1, and we started at 6.2. So we'll actually get back and be at pretty close to 0, but it will hold steady. It'll be fine, and it will work. Extra foundry, the interrupts, the ejecting biters, the front rail guns, the stack inserters, and remove the beacons. Those are all the changes we've done for this ship, and it works so much better. What I can also do is I can also now see, once we've gone through a full iteration, we can take a look at, and I'll explain what happens if you upgrade some components to rare and which ones you should upgrade first. But first, we're seeing this fill up. We are now heading back, and we'll just see that how it looks when it comes all the way back out of this field, how much it has left, particularly of the railgun shots, because that's the one that decreases the most rapidly. We're now almost out of the PROMETHIUM field, just 5,000 kilometers more, and you can look here how much we have. Oops, that's the wrong one. This one. We are down to 400. That's not a lot, and it'll even dip lower because we will actually use some shots going back to Aquillo, and actually from Aquillo as well. But at this point, we'll start seeing that it's... Oh, this looks so dangerously close. But we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. Yeah, that's the one thing we wanted to take a look at. And now also, how full is this? We are coming back with just barely under 40,000. It's usually actually 40 to 41,000. So it's the first time I see it actually go less than 40,000. But that's interesting. So this ship is like, I call it the normal quality, but there's some things that you can't have normal quality. These collectors, they have to be at least uncommon quality, and if you have better, then use better. But you need the front ones to be at least uncommon, because otherwise you're just wasting a lot of the PROMETHIUM, because it'll simply not be able to be picked up fast enough, and that's for it'll hit the ship and disappear. And then as a result, it'll fly further up before it gets to 20,000, and then it won't have enough ammo to return. So make sure that you get the asteroid collectors here, uncommon quality, and it's like, that shouldn't really be a problem, because you're going to be producing those continuously, and they're just so much better. And if you have some rare ones, then put them in as well. Really valuable. We can see now on our benchmark here, we're down to 300, but we're also seeing that it's really holding steady. It's actually increasing now. Slowly increasing, and we get back, and now we're coming to the inner planets. This will still shoot a little bit because we have some large asteroids, and they are set up to also shoot at large asteroids. The thing is, this ship, I'm saying that it works. It is, and it comes back with about 40,000, and that's all great. But why would you then need to upgrade to a rare quality ship? Well, because what happens then when it comes back is that it's actually going to spend quite a lot of time on actually doing fuel ammo runs to build up, because it uses quite a lot of ammunition, and that takes a long time to restock. And then we can get back here. So now we can take a look at what happens on Nilaus. Comes in, it requests 6,000, and those 6,000 are coming in. I have on Nilaus built for your viewing pleasure up here. These 6,000 are built here. And go back to our ship, that one, and that is there. So you can see now it's consuming. This one goes up to 6,000, and while the satisfaction is decreasing because we're slowly consuming it, we will see that they will cross when the available rocket silo hits 6,000. Then they will immediately launch, but it will not launch all of them because it's not really requesting. It'll probably launch 3,500 by the time it gets there. So we'll just let it run a little bit faster there, and go in here, and there we go. Now it launches. 3,500 is coming in, and then it immediately starts building up again in the rocket silos, and whatever doesn't get launched just gets discarded. And for me, I don't care if I discard some BITER eggs and start over on a new iteration. It's more important that it's safe, and we can see that this one is slowly decreasing. It's now down to 24,000. It started at 40,000, and then it just goes down, and we can see there's another 3,500. That was 4,000 en route, and they will just arrive now, and slowly, and then it's again building up more on the rocket silos, and we'll just wait for this to complete until it has 0 PROMETHIUM left. We are now very close to hitting it, but I think we're gonna get another batch inbound. Yes, we are getting another batch inbound, and then it has left. There we go. It's left. It removed the last of the temporary stops, and is now heading to Clever. And what we're seeing now is a large stream of BITER being thrown into the void, Wayland Yutani style, and that will then it got too clever, realized that it did not have enough ammo to start another round, and then it just circles on the inner planets. Just go through it. It's very important that you don't have unload. It's very important that you don't have any waiting time. It's simply just go there on an ammo run. Because if it starts going there and starts unloading and loading and stuff, that's not what you want. You just simply want to do a drive-by, just collecting stuff out here. And it'll do that several times. It will just let you know that you know how many times it actually has to do this before it is able to go out. Alright, so it's coming back. This is now on the 7th run, and it just got a green light here. So that means 7 runs. Each of these runs takes a little more than 7 minutes. So let's say about 50 minutes of time spent just doing fuel supplies in order to get ready for the next round. That might not be a problem, but it's certainly a big part of the operating time that this ship is spending, because it's only with normal components. So that's just a heads up that it will work, and it will self-balance, and it will self-adjust between ammo runs and PROMETHIUM runs, but it is spending majority of the time actually doing the ammo runs. So that's the caveat of having this. So what if you actually had a better ship? What would happen if you could actually upgrade it to a rare quality ship? So this is what I have now. This doesn't mean that everything is rare quality. It means that I have quite sort of deliberately said, okay, which ones do I think are most important? And I'm actually going to, first of all, I'm going to take you and send you, I'm going to send you back here, and I'm going to be marking you so you don't go anywhere, and I'm going to let you go out into the wild. Good. So this ship is now with their components. I'm only upgrading the stuff that I feel is necessary. So I have, for example, not upgraded the rocket, the power plant, because that's really expensive to get this into higher quality. What I have upgraded is, if we look up front, here we can see that there are 6 of the railguns that I've upgraded to rare quality. And if I look a little bit further, then I can see that I have 18 of the gun turrets, or the rocket turrets, have been upgraded to higher level, and also 17 of the normal gun turrets. So the reason why is, if we look at the range, look at this range, this is a normal, and sort of where does it go to? We can actually just kind of let it go to sort of the edge of the screen. There we go. Maybe that, okay, so we get a sense of how long it, but this one, we don't want this to reach further out. If we use an uncommon one out here, that means they're actually going to be shooting all the way out here for something that's not relevant to shoot at. So same thing, this on the side is, we don't really want this one to shoot too far out. So if I made this rare, it would shoot further out. You can see the difference between a normal and a rare, right? So if that's sort of also stretching out, that would shoot at a lot of things that it wouldn't need to do. And the same with the gun turrets. We're setting up gun turrets here. All the gun turrets are upgraded because, well, why not? At least, well, front ones on. I'm not upgrading these. I'm not upgrading laser turret. You can do that, but I just wanted to show you how little is needed. I've also set this up to be rare quality collectors, and on the side we don't really need rare quality collectors, so anything that's on the side here, I just left it at uncommon. Other things, the most important thing to upgrade is this productivity module to rare quality. I have not upgraded the actual cryogenic plant, because that might be a little bit difficult to do, so I just wanted to see how it would work without upgrading this, and it works fine. Down here, foundries are pretty simple to make, so those I'm upgrading. The assemblers are upgraded, beacons, and what the hell is going on here? Who did that? These really should be upgraded. That's really important. There. Okay, so well, update that. These also, I want the beacons and modules to be the ones that are first priority. I have gone through this one because that's what is needed here. I have upgraded some of these, the chemical plants, to rare quality. Also, some of the crushers are rare quality, but not all of them. Like these ones don't need to be upgraded. This one doesn't need to be upgraded. This doesn't need to be upgraded. Fuel is not a problem. The very, very important thing is this one. If you upgrade this, then it pumps faster. This is determining how fast it flies. You can see it now flying. Previously it was flying at 130, now it's flying at 175. That makes a huge difference. So this is the risky one. if you turn this up and keep it always at 15%, as I have done here, 15%, then by this upgrade, this is actually controlling the speed, and the speed is the speed by which they are coming at you, and if they're coming at you too fast, then you won't be able to kill. Another thing that's important is maybe you have the rocket turrets upgraded, but you don't have the railguns upgraded. In that case, it's not going to work. Because if the rocket turrets are longer range, you can see if this is a long range, compare it to, that's basically the top of the screen, compared to this one. Then it actually ends up that the rockets will shoot way too much, and it'll actually use the rocket ammo way too fast. So you need to have similar upgrades. So for example, if you only have uncommon railguns, then only use uncommon rocket turrets here. And again, it's self-balancing as long as you make sure that there's not here. So this one is the way you control it. So this one means that it goes faster, which means that each trip is faster, and with all the productivity that's ingrained all over the place, that means we are actually going to get way better utilization, way better production rate, and they will be much more likely to keep up as we go further into the Prometheum fields. We're now 42,000 kilometers in, and it hasn't even budged here. We're going to be taking a look at when it turns and when it comes back to see how much it actually uses of ammo and how well it can keep up. The normal quality ship was turning around at 185, and this one is also turning around at 185. And if you look at it, then you can see that the gun ammo is staying steady, and we've used about 3,000 rockets, and we've used about 500 railguns on the way in. So let's just let it fly back and then see when it crosses the boundary of the Prometheum fields. But already now you can see that it's using way less than the previous one, because it's much better at keeping up with the stockpile. And so we're now almost out of the Prometheum field, and we can see that the consumption rate hasn't really changed much. We are now down about 1,200 railgun shots and about 5,000 ammo here. And we see that we still again come in at just slightly under 40,000, but still it's, we'll call it 40,000. And it's now flying back. And what we'll see is that it will also just pretty quickly, you can see it's already now, the rockets are flickering now, it's 12,000, so it's already now starting to build up the reserve again. And also it's now up to 5,000 railgun shots, so even now it's actually building up reserve. What will be the result of this is that either it'll do a single ammo run or it will do no ammo run at all. I don't think it'll actually do any ammo runs, but let's see what it looks like when it comes back to Nilaus, both in terms of ammo and also how it handles when this one goes a lot faster. We are now coming back to Nilaus, and we are already fully stocked, so there will be no need for ammo runs when you're running at on rare quality. So this is a pretty amazing thing. We can see this one will be burning through this quite rapidly. It'll actually, I think it'll just be completing or just consuming all of it before the next one launches, and this is why I've set it up to have 2 city blocks of BITER farms, so that we can see that it will actually launch all of them at once. Oh, please work. Yes, it launches 6,000. Isn't that perfect? So 6,000, and it just barely runs out before the next one comes in, and then this burns through pretty quickly, and then it'll start another one. So basically, if by upgrading, well, you're basically cutting away maybe like an hour of a round trip. So maybe the round trip takes 30 minutes instead of taking an hour and 30 minutes. And thereby it's increasing the Prometheum throughput incredibly much by just upgrading it to rare components. But either case, it's exactly the same spaceship. You don't do any changes except upgrade the components here. I'm going to leave this blueprint as well. We're going to have these 2 blueprints. They are the ones, the Prometheum, the normal quality, and the new Prometheum rare quality. So that's the 2 things, and you can see it's ejecting all of the excess spider eggs, and we're now safe. And it starts the new trip. Everything is good, and it's already starting the next trip, just happily chugging along. I hope this was useful, interesting, and yeah, exciting, I hope. And maybe you can apply it to your own game. Maybe you learn the principles, or maybe you want to copy the blueprint, and in that case, they're available to Patreon supporters. So if you are a Patreon supporter, you already get access to all the save games and all the blueprints neatly wrapped up in these blueprint books. So thank you very much, everyone who's choosing to support the channel. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, take care, and as always, stay effective.